What is up, lads? You're with the Budget Monk, and welcome to the final episode here of my update series of the Absolute GOAT game. Well, as it turns out, guys, we were unsuccessful. I'm sorry to say. So, I just want to get that out of the way, tear off the bandage, guys. It's a shame. As you can see, the one tag successful, the one faith successful with a lot of time remaining in the game, and the one culture unsuccessful. Now that looks like a lot of land, which is not our culture. What you can do is go to the accepted culture map mode, and in this map mode, anything that is orange is being in the process of being converted. So you can see the red that remains. Obviously these provinces are very large geographically, and there is compared to the entire world, there's a very small amount of land which is not Roman. Maybe less than 10%? I don't know. So you might say there's time in the game, Monk. Is it really over? Well, it absolutely is over, and I cancelled this culture to demonstrate that to you. These are the biggest ones in the entire game, guys. These are the biggest ones in the entire game. 14 dev. So everything above 14... I've been messing around a little bit, as you can see. Everything above 14 has been converted. Everything. So we're dealing with 14s, and if we convert this, you can see it takes 140 months, and that finishes after the end game date. So it's really a shame due to the sheer amount. We probably have half the list being converted, and it's from top to bottom. So at 18 Diplo a month, we can convert 9 of these 2s per month, and then 3s, up to a total cost of 14. So most of them are 10 with adjacency, but some are 14. So absolutely close. If you think about how much we would generate at 18 per month for the final sort of 11 years, I mean, ridiculously close. But we fell ever so slightly behind in terms of the actual time that it takes to convert. So it's a shame, guys. I am disappointed, and it's an extra bitter pill to swallow because it was my fault. If it was my fault, then I will accept the blame. And I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here to explain that. For a lot of people are wondering, as we've done this before, except provinces bugged out. Well, we were very vigilant this run in protecting higher development provinces with forts, with rebel suppression just everywhere, being ready to receive them, whether they were in my subjects' land or my own land, just suppressing everywhere. And making sure that no rebels ever occupied anything that was of a significant size. We did an amazing job this game, and it wasn't the bug that got us. We actually ran out of time and Diplo points. So why would that be the case? Or to answer the question, what would we do differently? Long story short, guys, Bohemia. So I made the mistake of overvaluing Hungary, and it's no secret to people that my sort of top nations are, I like all of the Germans, but, look at the state of Germany. There aren't that many. So it's typically sort of Brandenburg. I like Austria, Hungary. Those are sort of my favorite nations. And, of course, Byzantium. Everybody likes Byzantium. And it's no secret that Hungary is one of my favorite nations, and I love them. And the idea that they were so powerful, debatably one of the more powerful nations in the world, depending on how you want to achieve or what you want to achieve, was very appealing to me. And when you compare Bohemia and Hungary, Bohemia has 15% annexation cost reduction. Hungary has 10% annexation cost reduction. Now, there are many points when you stack all of the annexation cost reduction modifiers like we have, like Sardinia has 10%. There are many points where you are actually annexation capped. And the difference between Bohemia and Hungary, assuming that you are at the capacity, is that Hungary actually has a diplomat. He has a diplomat. So, for the whole game, from his mission. So, the thing about diplomats is that you can actually find yourself with quite a harsh bottleneck where let's say that we only have 5. We can actually resource more from policies and so on, but let's say we have 5. Well, we could do a maximum of 4 annexations of 4 subjects simultaneously. If we did 5, we would be unable to sign any peace treaty, declare war, do anything. But also at the end of the game, near the end of the game, it takes 6 months for your diplomat to travel around the world, guys. If we sign a peace treaty, I then can't declare war for a year. In some cases, I've had it take 280 days for him to travel. So again, the diplomat is very valuable. Well, why would I make that mistake? I mean, in the past, I knew very well how valuable that additional 5% annexation cost was. So why would I make the mistake sort of overvaluing Hungary and the convenience as opposed to the 5% which would make a bottleneck disappear? The reason why is because I actually learned, I'm not perfect, and it has been an experience for me, guys. A lot of people are very complimentary or complimentative, if that's the appropriate term, and I appreciate that. But what I did learn somewhat recently is that if you look at innovativeness here, the same thing applies with the golden era. So the innovativeness is this. We've got 70 innovativeness, and that results in 7% point cost reduction. Well, our innovativeness is being applied directly to cultural conversion cost. Your innovativeness is also applied directly to core cost. So your innovativeness is, or your point cost reduction, right? In quotations, your point cost reduction, like the golden era, it literally is cultural conversion cost reduction, but it is also core cost reduction. And I basically mislearned, it's my fault, that it was also annexation cost reduction, because that's when I realized that this was the case, that it applies directly to these modifiers. It made sense to me, right? That your annexation cost it costs Diplo points, and that is reduced. But in actuality, it takes the final annexation cost reduction, and it takes the final value, and then it reduces that by 7% or 17% if we have this. So in other words, the more efficient you are at annexing, the less that the innovativeness is actually going to do for you. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I was under the impression that we were annexation cost reduction capped towards the end of the game, which we weren't, by using the golden era. And I actually realized my mistake throughout the course of this campaign. I realized that I was wrong earlier on in the campaign. However, whenever we have done this run, we've always had the Diplo points by far, by a long shot. So I just sort of thought in the back of my mind, oh, that's bad. I'm wrong. But we'll probably be okay. And we came bloody close to probably being okay. Well, how significant is that 5%? Some people might think, really? That 5% additional from Bohemia, would that really save you? Well, the answer is yes, it would. I think Bohemia is a little bit weaker than Hungary. There is a lot of difference between the nuance, but provided that we were in the same circumstance, yes, it absolutely would have. And the reason why is because we are at 80% annexation cost reduction, 80%. So the way that you have to understand it is that the total remaining cost is 20%. So 5% is not actually 5% reduced. It doesn't reduce 100 to 95. We're talking about the remaining 20% being reduced by 5, down to 15. So 5 is 25% of the remaining 20, right? 4 times 5 is 20. So anything that we had to annex would have been reduced by an additional 25% if we were Bohemia. So the last round of annexations that we did, guys, was Mali, Kazambi, Genpor, Yarkand, and Langzang. Well, all of those points, because they were huge and they were fed up, all of them combined, despite our massive admin efficiency and our annexation cost reduction and the golden era, they were almost 1,000 points, which means in that last round of annexation alone, we would have saved about 250 points if we were Bohemia. That could have been enough, potentially. But let alone, of course, we did Manchu in Japan before that, and we did Kilwa Aid in Mexico and Russia before that. We would have saved well over 1,000 points in this game going into the late game, which certainly would have been enough. So that's where our points went. It's really unfortunate, like I said, and it's an extra bitter pill because it's my fault. And I acknowledge that. If it's my fault, then it's my fault. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. And like Icarus, we flew too close to the sun and got burnt, guys. So third time is not a charm. It's a learning experience. And yeah, it's kind of a shame because I did this series. I really committed to this. I really wanted to get it done in one take, one shot. A lot went wrong with this campaign. A lot went well, but a lot also went wrong. The Mexican PU towards the late game was like a miracle saving grace because we were having a bad game. France was just ruining my game. I had never had a run like this, an attempt get so late, like the Age of Absolutism, and we were on. I was literally fighting France, who was stronger than me on very hard difficulty in every way. Better quality, way more quantity, just brutal. Absolutely brutal, this game. But we came really, really close. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. You can't win them all. People are very complimentative towards me. I'm so good at the game and so on. Well, I appreciate that. Perhaps it is not the case. But I do plan to do this exact run again and to be successful. However, I will not be doing a sort of highlight series like this over on YouTube. This is one and done. It was glorious. It was a historic run. I proved to everybody, the doubters, that it is definitely achievable. I could go ahead and analyze my game in many ways as to how it could have been better. We had way too much Diplo emphasis in the beginning of the game. If you remember, we were way over our relations and we were too small geographically. That was a big bottleneck. But yeah, what I'm going to be doing, guys, is actually probably streaming multiple different series over on my stream. I'm not going to just attempt this straight up. I'm probably going to do a few attempts and get a really good game going, maybe once or twice a week. And then once we feel like we have a really good game going, we're going to continue on into the mid and the late game, and we're going to knock this out and get it done. So if you do want to watch that stuff, you guys have to tune in live. I probably down the line will post a sort of celebratory video to our sort of successful run. We're money capped, by the way. I'm just saying. Yeah, and at least those of you, if you're still here, you're still following, you will have a sort of idea as to what it was like, as opposed to it just coming out of the blue. I know for some people, you post a game like this standalone, and you go around looking at the world, the one face, the one tag, and even the one culture, and people, they can't even comprehend what they're seeing. But yeah, you come and hang out with me on my live stream, guys, over at twitch.tv/budgetmonk if you want to be exposed to that. And I will leave it here with a little bit of a teaser, guys. Feel free to ask me questions in the YouTube comments. Just be aware that I interact with a lot of people. There's people who are going to ask questions on Discord, and that's more of a priority for me because they're sort of more tight-knit in my community. But I will leave a teaser here, guys. What if I said that we would do this as a one-province miner? Thoughts in the YouTube comments? Is that redemption? One faith, one tag, one culture, very hard difficulty, no exploits, as an OPM. I'm considering it. Some people are going to speculate who would that one-province miner be. Many people will know. Feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll give you a little clue for people who don't know. Maybe they're an alien race. Think about it. And would that be more enjoyable? Would that be redemption? I have to do some testing to find out if it is actually possible. I don't want to have a repeat here of Bohemia. I'm leaning towards yes, but as a one-province miner, we would need even more things to go well. So I'm definitely going to lean away from the just doing it in one shot, and we would have to have a good game going. But that's it, guys. That is the end to this historic series and campaign. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.